Hello. Today we're going to be talking about the structure of your homework assignment. I would like you to follow this structure because it will allow you to make a logical argument as well as run your cases through our systematic method of the Potter box. So how I'd like you to start all of your homework assignments. One, put what homework assignment it is, homework assignment 1, homework assignment 2, etc. And then put your name. And in the first paragraph, I would like you to answer the question, why is this case an ethical case? This is not a law class, this is not a religion class, so how does this case apply to ethical problems in journalism, in media, in public relations, in advertising? So let's actually look at the first case. And here it is. It's case 4-5. It just happens to be from an old textbook, chapter 4, case number 5, and that is the careless chaperones and the unbridled teens. Now, for your first homework assignment, I'd like you to run through this case, through the Potter box, using Aristotle as your philosopher and using his principles. For this video, what I'm going to do is use Machiavelli. As you recall, Machiavelli said that it's the results that matter. Whatever you do to get to those results makes what you did the right ethical decision. So I don't want to give away all the answers for the homework assignment, so let's look at it this way. So in that first paragraph, why is this an ethical case? Well, I'll give you a quick summary of what the case is. Basically, there was a party. Girl got pregnant at the party. Her parents are suing the chaperones for her getting pregnant. I guess they want money and as some kind of comfort. I don't know about that, but what does that have to do with journalism? It doesn't. Chaperoning, now that's not journalism. Teen pregnancy, not journalism. Not even newsworthy. So exactly why are we talking about this case? Well, let's look at the first paragraph here. It says, please don't publish this story. We're not asking on behalf of ourselves. It's our daughter we're concerned about. She's just a teenager who made a mistake. Well, let's look at that. Someone is asking for a story not to be published before it's been published. And they're saying we want to protect our daughter. Now, journalism has a long tradition, at least in the United States, of what we call no pre-publication censorship, which means if it hasn't been published yet, you can't stop it from being published, unless an extreme case like troop movements for national security, something along those lines. But just because you don't like a story that may be coming out or you think it may portray you in a bad way, you can't stop it from happening. Regardless of how much you want to, you can't. So that's what we're talking about in this case, is pre-publication censorship, but also privacy. Our topic next week will be privacy. So privacy comes into this, but what's this week's topic? Well, it's the truth. Is there something about this story that is untruthful? Something about the story that we need to tell the truth? I don't know. That's why we're bringing it through the Potter box here. But if we don't publish it, are we not telling the truth? Not telling the whole truth? Is this a truth that the public needs to know? So lots of questions, but why? In our structure here, why is this an ethical case? Well, it's an ethical case because we're talking about truth and stopping the truth from being published. So that's a good place to start. And so if you wrote down this case of the unbridled teen and the negligent chaperones. Is that what it's called? Negligent chaperones? Unbridled teens and careless chaperones. All right. In this case, we are talking about truth, and should truth be suppressed? I don't know why that's there. why should truth be suppressed or altered to save the reputation of a person or a young lady or something along that line. It's an ethical case because it's not a legal case. It has to do with stopping publication. It has something to do with truth. So that's what I would say in the first paragraph, a lot more elegantly than I put it. Elegantly would be, this case deals with truth, deals with censoring a publication, and deals with privacy of an individual. All right. Define what the ethical problem is. Just trying to tell you what the ethical case was. I kind of fumbled around a little bit there, but once again, we're talking about truth here. And, let's look at what the case is about. The parents want to stop publication of a truthful story to save the reputation of this young girl. Now, this young girl did not throw herself into the vortex of attention. The parents did. The parents brought this lawsuit, and that's why they know that this media outlet is covering this case, is because this lawsuit has been presented in front of the court. The court reporter has sat in and watched the deliberations and sees that, oh yeah, this could set a precedent. Every time someone has a party and a teenager gets drunk, pregnant, in trouble in some way, is this going to reflect back to the homeowners who threw the party, the chaperones of the party? Are they always going to be held liable for any type of negligence that comes up? So, it's an important story. So this reporter's working on it, and these parents, who basically have thrown their daughter under a bus here, don't want you to publish a story that is true. So my definition is, do we publish stories that are true when a person from the public asks you not to? Well, that's an easy case then. You just say no pre-publication censorship, and you move on. But let's look at it in some other lights here. Let's look at it from maybe a John Rawls type of perspective, the veil of ignorance here. I know I said I was going to do Machiavelli, but let's just pop Rawls in here for a second and say, well, this isn't about a minor girl reputation. Do we publish true facts about a public case? Well, yeah, and if you define it that way, it most certainly does. Machiavelli, what would be his objective? What is the end that he's going toward? It could be to increase the audience number, increase advertising. So yeah, he would want to print maybe scandalous cases, something along the lines of sort of private information, but not private information. And I really think that's the crux of this case, is you're taking something that is public information about a private matter. And it's the parents that have done this. And now they're asking you to not be truthful. So, do we, from a Machiavellian approach, stop publication of something that's truthful? That might be embarrassing. Oh, well, there's your definition of what the case is. So, third paragraph here, what values apply? Remember, values are societal, community agreed upon aspects of society that we hold in regard. Say health. We all want to have a healthy community. So, health would be a value. In this case, health would not apply to this. What values are relevant to this case or this philosopher? Well, in this case, a value that we hold in esteem, that we regard as a good thing for society, is the right to know. We have the right to know what goes on in our courts. That's why we have open courts. That's why we have freedom of the press. We have freedom of speech. That's why we don't have star chambers anymore where everything is done in private. Everything is done in public, so the public knows what's going on. So, and the media acts as a substitute for the public in this case. So, people's right to know, honesty. Are we being honest to our public? Let's see some other values that would apply. Autonomy, the autonomy of the media outlet to publish what they want. Independence, not independence from, we don't have freedom, but independence from outside influence. It could be a lot of different values that apply. Now, when you are putting in your homework assignment, tell me what the value is, something like the public's right to know. Tell me what the value means, that, as a citizen, you should know what's going on in your courses, especially cases that are open to the public. And then say how it would apply to this case. This is a case that's being covered, and it's open to the public, so it's newsworthy, and people would want to know about this. Say the value of privacy. It does apply here. What is privacy? It means not invading into a person's solitude. Well, this girl's definitely having her privacy invaded upon, but her parents are the ones that put them into what I've been calling a vortex of attention. It's a legal term for putting it in the public's eye. So, that would be a value that applies also. So with all the values that you have, tell me what the value is, define the value, and then how it applies. All right, number 4, what philosopher or ethical principles apply? I have given you the philosopher. So with Aristotle, it would be his golden mean. In between two extremes, there's a middle ground. So tell me how this might apply to this case. With Machiavelli, if we assume that he wants to increase the audience side, would say, we would publish something based on our definition of the problem. If it's legal, if it's true, and if it happens to be a little bit scandalous, we want that too, to increase that audience size. Since we already brought up John Rawls, he may have defined it differently, saying, do we publish legally obtained material? Yes, we publish legally obtained material. And how would it apply in this case? The information that we have about this case, this girl, all legally obtained. There's no reason why we shouldn't put it before the public. And then we can always bring in, the free marketplace of ideas, etc. But we're sticking with one principle, one philosopher per paper, because you don't want it to become too overwhelmed. 5, who are you loyal to? Are you loyal to the girl? Are you loyal to the baby? Are you loyal to the parents who brought up this case? Are you loyal to the careless chaperones? Are you loyal to your audience? Are you loyal to your publisher, your editor? Are you loyal to the profession? You're loyal to your professor. You should always be loyal to your professor. But tell me who you're loyal to and why you would be loyal to them. And always think in terms of your philosopher too. Who would Machiavelli be loyal to? Well, definitely to his audience. What do they want? They want scandalous things, and we don't want to get in trouble at the same time. So we're going to say that we would want to publish this because we are loyal to the public, and it's true. We're loyal to the publisher who likes to make money. Loyal to the stockholders because they like to make money. We are loyal to the journalism profession who doesn't allow for pre-publication censorship. So list all the people that you would be loyal to that would apply to this case. And now that you've run this case through these 5 steps, what's your decision? Based on how you processed this case through the Potter box, do you publish? Do you not publish? With Aristotle, do you find a middle ground? Tell me what your decision here is. In the case of Machiavelli, I would say we would publish the article because it would increase our audience side, because even though this is a true story that is from a public case. It's also a little bit scandalous, so we were definitely going to publish this so we make some extra money and increase our audience size. So that's how I want the homework structured. As you think through each of these steps, you may have to go back and revise what you put in one of these paragraphs. You may hit the philosopher section there and realize, wow, I really didn't look at the definition of the ethical problem from the point of view of my philosopher. So you have to go back and redo the definition. When you hit the philosophers again, maybe I didn't look at these values right. This philosopher's value is very concerned about, independence. So, I need to put that as one of the values in this paper. And so it's not a step by step. You can always go back. You can always revise. So I see it more as stages. So these are the 6 stages of this homework assignment. And when I set up the rubric to grade this, the first one will be, did they say why this case is an ethical case as opposed to a legal case? 2, did they define this? Did they have all the values that would apply? Or, minimum 3. Do they have 3 values or more that apply to this case and have said how it is relevant to the case or the philosopher? Did they apply the principles of the philosopher to the case? Did they say who they are loyal to? 2 or 3, definitely in there. And did they say what the decision is? And of course I would have another thing in the rubric for grammar, spelling, and punctuation. But follow these steps and you will have a well-structured argument, a well-structured paper, and what your professor is looking for your homework assignments.